On our silver wedding anniversary, my husband, Victor Thorne 55, gave me divorce papers instead of a gift. 25 years is long enough, he announced in front of all our guests. I want someone young now, and you need to be out of the condo by tomorrow. He seemed to have forgotten that my parents gifted me that condo in Atlanta, Georgia. His mother, Matilda Thorne, just smiled silently. I rose, took the microphone, and said something that left him speechless. That night, Clara Bellwether woke up to whispers from behind the bedroom door. Her husband, Victor Thorne, was on the phone with his mother again at 3:00 a.m. His voice sounded strangely excited. Clara lay still in the dark, catching snippets of the conversation. We have to do this right, Victor's voice insisted. She won't suspect a thing. Of course not, son, his mother replied. Clara tensed. What were they plotting in secret? And why now? Just a few weeks before their milestone anniversary. The hardwood floor creaked as Victor returned to the room. Clara quickly shut her eyes, pretending to be asleep. He slipped into bed carefully, but she could feel his body was stiff, restless. The next morning, everything felt odd. Victor was unnaturally affectionate. Clara, my love, he said, kissing her cheek. He smelled of expensive cologne. How about we choose the restaurant for our anniversary today? I want everything to be perfect. Clara raised an eyebrow. In 25 years of marriage, Victor had never been so enthusiastic about a family celebration. She always organized everything, and he only found fault. Fine, she replied carefully, watching him rush off to work. His cell phone was on the nightstand. The screen lit up with a notification. Clara couldn't help but look. It was a calendar reminder. Call us at 11:00 a.m. Who's the S you have in your contacts? She asked casually, watering the window plants. Victor spun around abruptly. For a second, Clara saw panic flash in his eyes, but he quickly calmed himself. Sanchez, a colleague from Seattle. Just consulting him on a work issue. A lie. Clara knew her husband like the back of her hand. When he lied, his left eye always twitched just as it was doing now. I see, she replied with a smile. But deep inside, her chest tightened. Once he left, Clara stood by the window, gazing at the gray October sky over Atlanta. 25 years, a quarter century. They met in college. She was a brilliant accounting student. He was an up-and-coming manager. They married for love, dreaming of children and a big family. But children never came. Doctors found nothing wrong, but the miracle never happened. Victor took it hard, especially when his mother, Matilda, started making passive-aggressive comments about grandchildren. In time, they accepted being childless and focused on the positives. More time for themselves, for travel, and for career advancement. But something vital had shifted between them. A knock on the door pulled her from her thoughts. Standing there was Matilda Thorne, her mother-in-law, with her usual frigid smile. Clara, dear, she said, entering the condo without waiting for an invitation. How are you? Are you preparing for the party? Matilda always treated Clara with exaggerated courtesy, but maintained a great distance. In 25 years of marriage, she never once called Clara her daughter. Slowly but surely, Clara replied, leading her to the living room. Victor wants to celebrate at a restaurant. Very good, Matilda responded brightly. A respectable venue with guests. Doing everything at home just doesn't show how important the date is. She began looking around the living room as if evaluating it. Clara knew that look. It always made her feel, without a single word being spoken, that Matilda's suburban mansion was larger and better decorated. By the way, Clara, dear, Matilda said, settling into an armchair. I've been thinking about the future. Victor is not so young anymore. He's 55 and, well, we don't have grandchildren. Don't you think it would be a good idea to write a will for the grandkids, just in case? Clara felt a chill. What grandchildren, Matilda? We don't have children. Well, for my nephews, she said dismissively, waving her hand. I have 2 nephews, good boys, studying, working. If we don't, the government will take everything. Clara slowly placed her teacup on the table. And where do you keep the condo papers? Matilda suddenly asked, as if it were a casual afterthought. I'm just thinking about the boys' future. The nephews, the young people, that was it. Clara understood the subtext. They're in the safe, she replied dryly. But why do you ask? Oh, just in case. You never know. When Matilda finally left, Clara sat in silence, piecing things together. The late-night call, Victor's strange burst of affection, and now Matilda's pointed questions about the house title. Bit by bit, the puzzle was forming, and she did not like the picture. She went to check Victor's computer. He had never changed the password before. He always used a simple key, the date they met, but it didn't work this time. Her heart raced. In 25 years, he had never kept secrets from her. She tried his birthday, nothing. She tried his mother's, nope. Then it occurred to her to try their wedding date, but in reverse. It worked. The browser history opened, and what she saw gave her a knot in her stomach. How to divorce when shared assets exist, spousal rights and property division, legal advice for separation. He had searched all of this over the past 2 weeks. With trembling fingers, she scrolled page after page. How to keep the condo in a divorce, legal tricks for dividing assets. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was her friend Candace. Clara, you won't believe what I saw. I saw your Victor at a jeweler's in a Buckhead Galleria with a young woman. They were looking at rings. She was clinging to him, hugging him like nothing. What did she look like? Clara interrupted softly. About 30, blonde, very put together, wearing a super expensive coat. Pretty, but she looked superficial. And they were so openly affectionate. Are you okay, Clara? Yes, Clara lied. Everything's fine, but nothing was fine. That evening, Victor returned with a bouquet of roses and a box of fancy chocolates. For my one and only true love, he said confidently, kissing her lips. One and only. How ironic, Clara thought. She looked him straight in the eye. We need to talk seriously about our future, Victor tensed. It was subtle, but she saw it. Talk about what? He asked, turning on the TV, pretending to be absorbed in the programming. Everything's fine, right? The anniversary is in 1 week. All our friends will be there. Let's not spoil the mood with serious topics. We'll talk after the party, okay, after the party. That meant something big was planned for the party itself. Clara nodded, feigning acceptance, but felt an icy coldness within. After 25 years, she knew her husband well. He was preparing something calmly and coldly, involving his mother and Shirley, a lawyer. What Victor didn't know was that Clara had an ace up her sleeve. Something that could unravel all his plans. And for now, she wasn't going to tell him a thing. Might happen. It's good to know where things are. The next day, Clara woke up with a knot in her stomach, as if a terrible tragedy had struck the day before, and she was just learning to live with it. Victor left early without breakfast. I have a meeting, he said. A meeting? Clara thought bitterly. She knew exactly who that meeting was with. At 11 o'clock a.m., the home phone rang. Victor had forgotten his cell phone, leaving it face down in the kitchen. Clara didn't answer, but the answering machine recorded the message. V, it's Mom. I spoke to Mr. Finnegan. Everything can be arranged. The important thing is that she doesn't suspect anything until the very last moment. Call me when you're free, Finnegan, the supposed Seattle colleague. Now it all made sense. Clara felt the ground give way beneath her. 25 years. A quarter century beside a man who was now planning his betrayal. Like office paperwork. She approached Victor's phone. It required a 6-digit code. She tried the date they met, September 1st, 1999. Nope. She tried Matilda's birthday. Nothing. Then she remembered the blonde from the jeweler's. Her intuition told her to try March 8th, International Women's Day. It worked. The lover's birthday. The text confirmed everything. Sylvie, my love, a little more patience. After the anniversary, everything will be resolved. The condo will be ours. V, you said we'd be living together by New Year's. I'm tired of hiding, my love. Everything is going according to plan. Mom has already taken care of things. Clara suspects nothing. Finnegan says, if we play this right, she'll only get half. I'll keep the condo. Clara slumped into a chair, her hands shaking. They were planning her life as if she were a piece of second-hand property. Victor, his mother, the lawyer Finnegan, the mistress Sylvie, all tangled in a trap where she was the prey. And the worst was yet to come. Hey, Mom, are you sure the condo title is in both our names? Maybe we got lucky and it's just mine, son. I saw the copies when you bought it. Both names are on it, but Finnegan says there are ways. The important thing is she signs the waiver, and if she won't sign, she will sign. After what we're going to do to her at the party, she won't have any other option. What did they plan to do to her? Clara felt anxiety rising in her throat. They were going to humiliate her in front of everyone, accuse her of something. Without wasting time, she copied all the important messages to her own phone and put Victor's phone back where she found it. She needed a plan. She needed help. She called Lauren Kempton, her college friend, now a family attorney. They didn't talk often, but their friendship remained strong. Clara, Lauren said when she answered, long time no talk. How are you? Can we meet today? Clara asked, trying to sound calm. I need a consultation. Sure, I'm free at 6. Come to the office, and we'll talk. Lauren's office was downtown in a modern high-rise. She greeted Clara with a hug, but immediately noticed the tension. Sit down. Tell me everything. What happened? Clara took a deep breath. Let's just say an acquaintance of mine is having trouble with her husband. He wants a divorce, but is hiding it. And it seems he's setting a trap. Lauren looked at her intently. You sure this is a hypothetical acquaintance, Clara? Clara was silent for a few seconds, then told her everything, the late-night calls, the phone messages, Sylvie, her mother-in-law's scheming, everything. Lauren listened, occasionally asking for clarification. I understand, she said finally. This is serious, but you're not lost. The good news is you reacted in time. Tell me about the house. When did you buy it? Whose name is on the title? We put both names on it in 2005. Equal shares. Are you formally employed? Yes, I'm the controller at Alliance Development Group. I've been there for 15 years, and the weekend cabin is also in both names. But it's not worth much. The condo in Atlanta is the main asset. Lauren jotted down notes. Clara, they can't do anything to you if you keep a clear head. In a divorce, everyone receives what is legally theirs. No one can force you to waive your share, but it's clear they are planning something dirty. They want to put you in a weak emotional position, a scandal, an accusation, something to break you. You need to be ready. How do I prepare? Gather evidence. Take photos of the messages. Record conversations if you can. Move some of the money into an account only in your name. Most importantly, don't let them know that you know what they're doing. Clara nodded. For the first time in days, she felt something close to relief. She had a plan. She had support. Thanks, Lauren. How much do I owe you? Lauren smiled. Nothing, girl. Friends don't charge. Just keep me in the loop. And remember, no matter what happens, you are not alone or defenseless. Part 6. Clara returned home determined to act. But what she found upon arrival confirmed the war had already begun. Victor was by the entrance checking himself in the mirror. You look kind of run down today, huh? He blurted out without looking at her directly. Forgive me, but yes, Clara. You've let yourself go a bit lately. Look, turning 50 isn't the end of the world. But you need to take care of yourself. Go to the gym, see the dermatologist, get something done. I saw Candace's daughter today. She's 30 but looks 25, very polished. And you? Well, you understand. He was comparing her to younger women, setting the stage to justify his betrayal. I have a meeting tomorrow, he announced suddenly. It's Saturday, but it will take all day. Another date with Sylvie. That's fine, Clara replied calmly. And Sunday? I'm going with Mom. I'm going to set up her new smart TV. Spending time with the Traders family that night. When Victor was in the shower, Clara reviewed their joint bank account online. In the last month, $30,000 had been withdrawn in several transactions. Gifts for Sylvie, payments to the lawyer, and who knows what else. All with their shared money. Clara let out a nervous, brittle laugh. They were using her own money to plan her downfall. But she had an ace up her sleeve. Something they didn't know. A week prior, a letter had arrived from a notary. Her Aunt Eleanor, her father's older sister, had passed away in Germany. She had no children or spouse. She left her entire estate to Clara, her only niece. This included a condo in Munich valued at $800,000 USD equivalent, a bank account with $570,000 USD equivalent, and another luxury investment condo in Miami Beach, Florida. Total value over $3 million. Clara hadn't told anyone. She wanted to surprise Victor on their anniversary, but now that money and property were her salvation, she opened her laptop and began researching how to register the inheritance, transfer the funds to her personal account, and legally protect herself from the people who saw her as a fool. Victor thought he held all the cards, but the game was just beginning. Part 7. On Monday, Clara woke up with a clear plan. First, she visited a notary, but not the one handling her aunt's case. She went to see an old acquaintance, Mr. Hollis, the real estate lawyer who had helped them purchase the condo years ago. Clara Bellwether. How many years? And how is Victor Thorne doing? Mr. Hollis, an older gentleman, greeted her with a smile. Mr. Hollis, I need your help, she said, entering his office. But it has to be strictly confidential. The lawyer's face grew serious. Sit down, I'm listening. Do you remember our condo on Peachtree Street in Atlanta? You did the title work in 2005. Of course. A very good unit in a fine building. Do you recall who purchased it first? I mean, where did the money come from? Mr. Hollis frowned, opened an old file, and searched for a moment. Here it is. It was an unusual case. The money came directly from your parents' account, and in the deed of gift, you are listed as the sole recipient. Victor was added 2 months later as your husband. Clara felt a surge of warmth in her chest. So, it's formally a premarital asset? Formally, yes. Your parents gifted it to you before Victor's name appeared on the documents. In case of divorce, that can make all the difference. He could only claim something if he proves he invested in major renovations. Clara smiled faintly. Victor never spent a dime on the condo. She had done everything herself. Could you give me a confirming document? Of course. Come back tomorrow afternoon. It will be ready. Leaving the office, Clara felt different. After so many days, she finally felt strong. Protected. What awaited her at home left her breathless. A courier delivered a thick envelope from Germany. The final papers for Aunt Eleanor's inheritance. Clara read the lines with the help of a summary. A condo in Munich valued at $800,000. A bank account with $570,000. And the luxury investment condo in Miami Beach. More than $3 million in total. She sat in the living room. She was now a wealthy, independent, free woman. But Victor shouldn't know. Not yet. Her phone rang. It was Victor, his voice overly cheerful. Clara, my love, I was thinking, what if we really celebrate our anniversary? Colleagues, friends, everyone. Why such a big deal, V? Why, it's 25 years, a silver anniversary. I want everyone to see what a perfect family we have. 100 people for her public humiliation. Isn't that expensive, Victor? We're supposed to be saving. Don't worry about it, he interrupted. The money is there. The important thing is the impression. We'll invite my boss, yours. Everyone needs to see how happy we are. What a cynical lie. Fine, Clara said calmly. Whatever you say, perfect. I have a meeting with some partners. We'll talk tonight, partners. Clara knew what that meant. In the afternoon, Matilda Thorne arrived with a gift. Clara, dear, she said in a sugary voice, handing her an envelope. This is from me to you. It was a consultation with an excellent family lawyer. Just in case, you never know. Clara opened the envelope. A business card, Finnegan and Associates, Divorce and Property Law, with a note. Free consultation anytime. The audacity. They were giving her a consultation with the very lawyer who was planning her betrayal. Thank you, Clara said dryly. Very thoughtful. I worry about you, daughter. For the first time in 25 years, her mother-in-law called her that just before stabbing her in the back. After Matilda left, Clara began to clean. In one of Victor's jackets, she found a crumpled card. Mr. Finnegan, Family Law, Divorce, Asset Division, Alimony. The same lawyer. The same plan. Victor came home late that night, cheerful and smelling of expensive perfume. He hugged Clara. Everything is ready. Restaurant menu. Guests. It will be unforgettable. Clara looked at him coldly. He was right. It was going to be unforgettable. Just not the way he imagined. The final rehearsal. V, what cologne are you wearing? That's not yours. He hesitated. I got on the elevator with the neighbor. She wears a very strong perfume, and it clung to my jacket. One lie after another. By the way, he said, walking toward the window, at the anniversary, I'm going to give a special speech about our life and our future plans. What plans? You'll see. It's a surprise, a surprise. Clara felt a chill. She couldn't sleep that night. Around 2:00 a.m., she heard a murmur. Victor was on the phone in the hallway. She got up quietly and pressed her ear to the bedroom door. Mom, everything is perfect. The restaurant is booked. Guests are confirmed. After the toast, it will all just happen. Are you sure she doesn't suspect anything? How would she suspect? She's naive like a child. She's always trusted me, and she still does. And if she doesn't want to sign the papers, she will sign. After what I tell her in front of everyone, she'll have no other option. Everyone will see what she's really like, you know. V, don't you think it would be better to do it privately at home without a scene? No, Mom. It has to be in front of everyone. That way, she won't be able to make a scene or demand explanations. She'll go straight home, and Finnegan will be waiting for her there with the papers. Quick, clean, and no drama. And Sylvie already knows. Of course, she's even coming to the anniversary. I want her to meet my colleagues. I'm going to introduce her as my new assistant. You're cruel. It's not cruelty, Mom. It's being practical. 25 years was enough. I deserve to be happy, too. Even if it's at her expense. Clara went back to bed, but couldn't sleep. So Sylvie was going to be at the party too. She was going to witness the humiliation of her rival and then take her place in the home. That's what they thought. In the morning, Clara went to the bank. She opened a personal account and transferred half of the money from the joint savings. If Victor wanted to continue spending on his mistress, he would do it with his half. Then she went to the lawyer for the document confirming that the condo was hers from before the marriage. Next, she went to work. Mr. Ellington, she said to her boss, entering his office. Can I speak with you? Of course, Clara Bellwether. Is everything all right? Everything is fine for now. I just wanted to warn you that I will soon be entering a difficult personal phase. Divorce. He asked, frowning. Seriously, I thought you two were solid. You even invited me to your anniversary. That's exactly why I want to warn you. If things go wrong, I hope I can count on your support. My work won't be affected. You are the best controller we've had in 15 years. Whatever happens, your job is safe. That night, while Victor was at another meeting, Clara took out the inheritance documents. She needed a clear, well-thought-out plan. The Miami Beach condo was empty. Aunt Eleanor had rented it out, but the contract had ended a month ago. Clara could move there after the divorce. With the money in the German bank, she had financial independence for years. And most importantly, the document proving the Atlanta condo was hers from before the marriage. Victor would never see that coming. Tomorrow was the anniversary. He thought he would deliver the final blow. But he was the one about to be blindsided. Clara put all the papers in the safe and smiled. Part 10. The price of humiliation. 30 morning, she went to the German consulate. She needed to formalize the inheritance to access Aunt Eleanor's accounts. The consul, an older gentleman with a neatly trimmed beard, reviewed the documents carefully. Everything in order, Mrs. Bellwether. Your aunt was a very prudent woman. The bank accounts will be unlocked in 1 week. And regarding the Miami Beach condo, ownership passes to your name immediately. Here are the papers. You can dispose of it as you wish. Clara carefully put the documents in her bag. She now owned 3 properties, over $1 million in cash, and most valuable of all, complete freedom. That same day, she opened another account in euros to prepare for the international transfer. Leaving the bank, she felt a weight lift from her. She no longer cared what Victor planned. That was no longer her problem. But the surprise waiting for her outside the St. Regis Hotel was a sharp blow. She had gone to check on the anniversary party arrangements, and right by the entrance, a young blonde woman in an expensive coat was talking on the phone. My love, it's incredible, Sylvie was saying in a sickly sweet voice. The ballroom is huge, the decor is divine. You promised we'd live in a huge condo soon, and I can already imagine hosting parties there. It was Sylvie, her husband's mistress. Clara walked closer. Excuse me, do you know where the manager is? Sylvie turned, looked Clara up and down with disdain. No idea, she replied coldly. I don't work here. She returned to her phone. There's some lady asking me questions here. Okay, see you tonight. I love you, some lady. Clara smiled to herself. Tomorrow, this lady would deliver a big surprise. The restaurant manager received Clara with a smile. You're here about tomorrow's anniversary. Mr. Thorne already paid for everything. Ballroom for 100 people, banquet, live music, and how much did all that cost? $45,000. Your husband requested the best of the best. $45,000 to humiliate her in public. At home, Victor was waiting, nervous. Clara, he said, quickly putting a paper away. Where were you? At the restaurant, checking everything. Impressive. $45,000 for one night. Seriously, don't you think that's too much? We have other plans, right? Don't worry about it, he scoffed. The money is there. The important thing is to make a good impression. That night, Matilda Thorne arrived completely excited. Son, are you ready? Did you rehearse your speech? Of course, Mom. Everything will be perfect. Don't worry, Mom. What if she makes a scene? Victor asked. She won't, Matilda replied confidently. With so many people, she'll hold it together. She's an educated woman. They'll settle things at home. And Finnegan, is he ready? Yes, the papers are done. All she needs to do is sign. After your speech, she'll have no choice. Clara quietly went to the bedroom and took her own papers from the drawer. She had everything ready. She put all the documents into a small folder. The paper stating the condo was hers from before the marriage, the inheritance documents, and the statement for her new bank account. Tomorrow, those documents would change everything. They didn't speak on the drive. Victor was nervous, drumming his fingers on the steering wheel. Clara watched the city lights. When they arrived at the hotel, Victor said, Clara, no matter what happens today, I want you to know that I wish you the best. Thank you, she replied with a serene smile. And I wish you receive exactly what you deserve. The ballroom at the St. Regis Hotel sparkled. 100 guests were seated. At the head table sat the hosts. Clara smiled and accepted congratulations. In one corner of the room stood Sylvie, introduced as his new marketing assistant, Victor's boss. Mr. Ellington congratulated them. Rarely does one see such solid couples. Thank you, Mr. Ellington. Today is a special day. I even prepared a very special speech. Dear guests, the voice of the master of ceremony sounded. May I ask for your attention? Victor would like to say a few words in honor of his wife. Victor stood up, took the microphone, and smiled broadly. He spoke of life, mistakes, and finally turned to Clara. Dear friends, I want to be honest with you and with myself. For 25 years, I endured a life with a woman who is not right for me, a gray, boring woman who doesn't know how to be the partner of a successful man. The ballroom erupted in surprise murmurs. Our marriage is over. I'm filing for divorce. The room was stunned. Matilda smiled triumphantly. Furthermore, Victor continued, I want a fair division of assets. Naomi must leave the condo. It's time for a new life, new relationships. He looked pointedly at Sylvie, who stood in the back, barely concealing a victorious smirk. That was enough. Clara slowly rose and gently took the microphone from her stunned husband. Thank you, Victor, she said in a quiet, almost sweet voice. Very honest, the truth is, I knew about this whole charade for 3 weeks. I knew about Sylvie, about the lawyer Finnegan, who's right over there in the corner, and about your plans to make me waive my rights to the condo. Mr. Finnegan turned pale and tried to slip out unnoticed. That your plan fell apart, darling, you see, she said, pulling a folder from her purse. You made a tiny mistake. Our condo is not a shared asset. It was a gift from my parents in my name before the marriage. I have the document from the real estate lawyer. Victor took a step back. And what's more, Clara continued, 3 weeks ago, I received an inheritance from my Aunt Eleanor in Germany. A condo in Munich, another luxury condo in Miami Beach, and over $1 million in cash. The silence in the room was absolute. So, V, what property division are you talking about? You'll get half of the cabin and half of your car. Everything else is mine, and now the fun part. Do you know how much your successful man spent on this? Little play to publicly humiliate his wife. $45,000 of our joint savings. The guests began to murmur in outrage. But I'm not spiteful. Victor, you are free. Take your wonderful woman, as you called her, and live wherever you like. Just not in my condo. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. She then turned to the guests. Dear friends, I apologize for ruining your evening, but sometimes the truth is more important than appearances. Thank you for coming. Now you know who is who. Clara placed the microphone on the table and walked toward the exit. Part 12, the collapse of the house of cards behind her, a scandal erupted. Mr. Ellington, the CEO, approached Victor Thorne. I am deeply disappointed in you after this show. I think we will have to review your position in the company. Sylvie, finally realizing her dream of living in a luxury condo was over, pushed her way through the angry guests. V, what's going on? You promised me a condo. And he also took out loans using their shared assets as collateral. She spat out, getting carried away. He thought his wife would never find out. He took $20,000 from Chase Bank and another $15,000 from Wells Fargo. He spent it all on me. Matilda Thorne, realizing her son's scheme had put her own assets at risk, shrieked, lunging at Sylvie. This is all your fault. You drove my son crazy. Meanwhile, Clara was in a taxi back to the condo. In her purse, she carried the titles to 3 properties and a bank statement showing over $1 million. Beautiful night, isn't it? The driver asked. Yes, Clara said, smiling. Very beautiful. You could say it changed my life. 3 months later, Clara was in court. Victor looked 10 years older. The judge reviewed the documents carefully. The court decides the following. The condo on Peachtree Street in Atlanta is the separate premarital property of Mrs. Clara Bellwether and is not subject to division. Victor panicked. The cabin property is considered marital property and is divided in half. The same goes for the Tesla Model S car. Furthermore, the judge continued, it was proven that Mr. Victor Thorne concealed significant debts from his spouse, a $20,000 loan at Chase Bank, a $15,000 loan at Wells Fargo, and an $8,000 quick loan. The total debt is $43,000. The petitioner shall be solely responsible for their repayment. Victor lost his job due to the scandal and ended up working as a taxi driver with his old Ford Escape, living with Matilda in her small apartment after she sold her mansion to pay debts. Sylvie, 2 months after the scandal, married a wealthy, albeit foolish, entrepreneur. Clara moved to her aunt's investment condo in Miami Beach. She resigned from her job and opened a small publishing house. Her lifelong dream, she bought a new, elegant Mercedes-Benz E-Class. A year later, she received a letter from Victor, a plea for forgiveness and acceptance of his foolishness. Clara filed it away. No anger, just relief. She stepped onto her terrace. Looking at the Miami lights, she was free, financially independent, and happy. The truth had finally conquered the lie.